For subtitles, please click here on your screen.
Thiruda Veerapandi Kottayile ram pam 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 pam. Thiruda Thiruda Thiruda. I sang the four style of Thiruda Thiruda. Tatarappa 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 tara.
கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால் காதல் என்று அர்த்தம்.
கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால் காதல் என்று அர்த்தம். தரரரரத்தரரத்தா மேகமென்று அர்த்தம். பூவை வண்டு வல்லையடித்தால் புதையல் என்று அர்த்தம். புதையல் என்னை கொள்ளையடித்தால் மச்சமென்றே அர்த்தம் அர்த்தம். கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள். You can see the difference. First line and this kind of music. Second line will be jazz. His idea, his working style, amazing. Nobody cannot reach him.
Tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning more than 3 decades. Rahman Music Sheets. Hi friends, discover the top take as we uncover the wow factor in this episode. Do watch it till the end to grab this musical moment of the day. 50 years, 35,000 songs. Over 3,000 concerts across continents. He sang for Shah Rukh Khan.
हम भी हैं जोश में, बातें कर होश में, यूं ना आंखें दिखा.
His voice echoes through the dark world of Satya.
गोली मार भेजे मैं भेजा शोर करता है.
For over 3 decades, he has remained the defining voice of Rajnikant. The voice is Mano. He was already a star when Rahman arrived with Roja. Mano's versatility found a new canvas in Rahman's music.
Vinara vinara desham manadera manara nara
konjam nilavu konjam neruppu.
Then came Thiruda Thiruda, Rahman's second film with Mani Ratnam, a light-hearted heist caper about 2 petty thieves. An audacious soundtrack. Expectations were high. Rahman delivered. For many, Rahman's finest and most underrated. Veerapandi Kottayile. Raw, playful, exuberant. A song that captured a composer pushing boundaries and a singer fearless enough to travel with him beyond the notes.
Veerapandi Kottayile.
Thiruda Veerapandi Kottayile ram pam 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 pam. Everybody used to like the rhythmic song only, but this is kind of situational song. Nobody will try to do that kind of composition for the film. He did it and it's a blast hit. And I sang in Tamil and I sang in Telugu. And Unni Menon sir also sang with me, and Chitraji also sang that song. Very, 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 very difficult. That also not yet finished chorus portions and trumpet, trombone. The orchestration was 30% only did when we are mixing the song. The singers, we mixed first Tamil, and when I am singing after 2 months or 3 months, the Telugu version, the music was there. It's phenomenal, sir. That is his idea, his working style, amazing. Nobody cannot reach him. That kind of composition, naya thoughts pura. जो करना है डेफिनेटली आई वांट टू मेक दिस सॉन्ग सुपर हिट, ऐसा सोच के कर रहा है सर. इतना वर्किंग पीपल, आई हैव वर्कड सो मेनी कंपोजर्स. The 7-to-1 recording is there. Whatever they are composing and whatever they think, that is in that period only they will work and they will finish the song. But after Rahman sir came only, everybody follows Rahman sir. And own studio is a big
advantage,
whatever
asset,
big asset for them.
வீரபாண்டி கோட்டையிலே வெள்ளி முளைக்கும் வேளையிலே பருவ பொண்ணு திருடி தழுவத்தி.
And he is the player, he is the composer. So you are not depending on any other composers or keyboard player. So he is the composer, he is the player, he is the recordist, very good editor, engineer, not only engineer, and very good editor. Where he want to take the bit, the piece, 4 bars or 8 bars bit, he is the master on that, and he will take our voice 3-4 tracks. I sang four style of ho 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 ho. The chorus portions, everything. He will tell the portion and he will take that. Very nice. Can we do it one more? Like that he will encourage us. And कुछ आपको पसंद आए तो you sing your style also. I will record it. He will give the freedom for the musicians and singers. So naya thought kuch aaye to you can also do the betterment. If it's good for song, he will take. That is very very encouraging type of character.
The song travelled across languages. For Tamil and Telugu, it was Mano, Chitra and Unni Menon. For Hindi, Udit Narayan stepped in for Unni Menon. But the exuberance remained the same.
प्यार कभी न तोड़ेंगे, साथ कभी न छोड़ेंगे, गोरी तुमने जब से दिल जीता.
सर ये गाना एक डांस नंबर है, लेकिन जब हम इसको सुनते हैं तो ये बिल्कुल वॉर क्राई जैसा साउंड करता है. इसकी एनर्जी एक बिल्कुल ही डिफरेंट लेवल पे है. तो जब आप इसको बिल्कुल एक बेसिक क्लिक ट्रैक के साथ गा रहे थे, तो इस गाने की एनर्जेटिक जोन में जाना किसी भी सिंगर के लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हो सकता है. तो हाउ डिड यू मैनेज दैट?
Sir, every music, not only that song, every music, some songs, there is no music, only chord and click track. But he will tell the situation and he will how to take the a skill for the song. He know better than so many composers. He will tell you on the dynamics also, where he want to throw, where he want to the compress करके गाना पड़ता है ये line. वैसा very good mentor for that song. He will explain you and he will take from you the quantity of singing.
पायलिया की छम छम से, चूड़ियों की खन खन से, मन भी तन भी सब कुछ है जीता.
And this particular song, first every line we are confused. How he is going to mix the rhythm? जो ऐसा rhythm आता है, नहीं तो ये बैले जैसा जाए तो कैसा रिसीव करता है पब्लिक. We are also confused. But after release that movie, the album was super duper hit, especially this song. Wherever we go, still till today also, in Tamil Nadu, wherever, that is village also, they like this song. And they how they are looking at the fast number rhythm pattern song, they will clap. Like that, they will clap for this song, double, triple also. Sometimes we used to sing first कचेरी beginning में एक बार, and they will request us before closing the show also. We used to sing this one. Like that, उतना पॉपुलर हुआ. अभी भी उतना फैंस है ये गाना.
वीरवाणी कोट्टयिले, इन्नरडी
Sir, is it possible to sing few lines of this song? हालांकि ये बहुत high pitch song है. Can you try?
வீரபாண்டி கோட்டையிலே வெள்ளி முளைக்கும் வேளையிலே ஊரும் ஆறும் தூங்கும் போது பூவும் நிலவும் சாயும் போது கொலுசு சத்தம் மனச திருடியதே நீ என்ற சொல்லுக்குள்ள பழப்பு வாழும் புள்ள நீ போட்ட வெத்தலைக்கு ஏனாக்கு ஊரும் புள்ள that chorus portion also we sang. अलग अलग गाया हम लोग साथ में ऑल कोरस इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स सुनने के टाइम आई हैव सीन बिफोर सिंगिंग some Lido shows in Toronto, Canada, and I am the ballets, 300, 400 dancers, same height, they will do the ballets. This kind of song I heard there only. Royal Philharmonic, some music, great composers did that. Like that composer, abhi tak nahi aaya. Rahman sir did that kind of style in Tamil first time, and abhi tak nobody tried. Hit hota hai nahi hota hai किसी को मालूम नहीं है ना, but he took the dare step and he success.
கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால் காதல் என்று அர்த்தம்.
Kannum Kannum is our first introduction to the two thieves, mischievous, restless, unpredictable.
புதையல் என்னை கொள்ளையடித்தால் மச்சமென்றே அர்த்தம்.
A song that captures the spirit of Thiruda Thiruda.
கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால் காதல் என்று அர்த்தம்.
Kannum Kannum, that is one kind of staccato song. Ta ta ra pa ta ta ra ra pa ta ta ra pa ta ra. That is like one Mexican people instrumentation used to be like that. That is he introduced in voice format. கண்ணு கண்ணும் கொள்ளையடித்தால் காதல் என்று அர்த்தம் தரரரரத்தா தரரத்தா மேகமென்று அர்த்தம் பூவை வண்டு வெள்ளையடித்தால் புதையல் என்று அர்த்தம் புதையல் என்னை கொள்ளையடித்தால் மச்சமென்றே அர்த்தம் அர்த்தம் கண்ணும் கண்ணும் கொள். You can see the difference. First line chak chik chik ta and this kind of music. Second line will be jazz.
புதையல் என்னை கொள்ளையடித்தால் மச்சமென்றே அர்த்தம் அர்த்தம்.
That format, full song you can listen, different kind of. And first line we used to sing soft में गाना पड़ता है. Second line throw. This kind of never sang for any composer. This kind of experiments all Rahman sir you only he can do, and he can do the justice for the tune and song.
Kannum Kannum was led by Mano, backed by two accomplished voices woven into Rahman's larger soundscape.
Sir, about this song, I had spoken with Sujata Mohanji, and she had very funny memories of this song. Let me show you what she had to say.
I just don't know why Rahman called me. It was a western, totally western kind of backing vocals. I was there along with Caroline, and Caroline listening to me singing in a choo-choo, all that, she started laughing. He put mics, he made a stand like this, Caroline facing that side and I was facing this side, and we were recording, because if we look at each other, she would start laughing. So still I always think why Rahman called me for such a western chorus. I still don't know. Sorry, I've started. Phew.
That time everybody we used to go If we ask for chorus portions also, we used to sing. The main singers also will sing. There is no question. And he only introduced the musicians and chorus portions who sang that portions in the album. The cassette, you can see the names. Such a great habit, sir. That is, साथ में कौन काम किया बोल के वो कैसेट में you can see the names also for that song, especially guitar, trumpet or flute. नवीन का नाम भी बहुत song गाना में I have seen. Flute नवीन का नाम.
So you just mentioned about Mr. Rahman's experimentations. Now, Thiruda Thiruda was his second film with Mr. Mani Ratnam. Though Roja was a big hit, but Mr. Rahman was still finding his ways, his feet in the film industry. So the safest route should have been कि जो चल रहा है वैसा ही म्यूजिक बनाते हैं. लेकिन he chose a different path. He did something that none could even think of. So how do you look at that?
Sir, he is having some fires are on him. He want to come and he want to hold the place. He want to become a top, and that is risk also. But he is always with positive energy. He did, and everybody unanimously with public, all are accepted till now. Whatever Rahman sir experiments in Tamil or Hindi or Telugu, सब लोग को जानते हैं वो. So Mani Ratnam sir kind of directors, very particular for the situations, and they ask you more different वो confusion नहीं है. रहमान sir को कुछ में there is no confusion for him. सुनता है whatever he is a composer, not only composer, music director. Director, when requesting one situation, he is a music director. He will give the project and he will create the compositions. Every time, every movie, Rahman sir eagerly we used to wait. Whatever, how many months he work for that. नींद नहीं है, उतना काम करता है. अरे, he is doing some miracles. Like that, musicians also who used to wait for the albums. So that kind of hard work he did, sir. It's not easy to take this position, and everybody appreciation getting means that is amazing workmanship. That can only I can say.
Coming up next, a Thiruda Thiruda song that turned the tables. Not just Mano, even Rahman joined the chorus. A song that travels beyond language and culture. And Mano's first meeting with Rahman at Ilayaraja studio. With music, moments and more, Mano returns in the next episode of Rahman Music Sheets. Stay with us.
I have worked with so many composers. The 7-to-1 recording is there. Whatever they are composing and whatever they think, that is that in that period only they will work and they will finish the song. Whatever Rahman sir experiments in Tamil or Hindi or Telugu, how many months he work for that. नींद नहीं है, उतना काम करता है. That kind of hard work he did, sir. It's not easy to take this position.
Do you agree that this indeed was the moment of the day? Is your choice different? Whatever your mind says, write it in the comments section below. We will be waiting. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon and stay entertained.